Yo. Hey, y'all. What's poppin'? Can you hear us? Can you hear what we got going on? This is called The Truth. 1017 The Truth. Hey. Oh, yeah. I think they can hear us now. Oh, yeah. Give me a song to sing, y'all, before I take them to church. Okay, cool. They can hear now. But anyway, you guys, since y'all are on here, the people who are on here right now, y'all couldn't hear anything that Jammin and I was just discussing. But I'm going to do a brief recap for y'all since y'all can hear us.
Can you stop for a moment?
Dang, never mind. I got to stop talking.
Speak.
Hello.
Say it again.
Hello.
Yeah, it's picking up.
Okay.
Technical difficulties, y'all. Shout out to all the Juicy Jammers who are being patient with us today. That's because we got J Money, J Problems in the building. J Dub. J Dub, if you listening. What up, player? We all good though?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
okay,
good.
period.
We're solid.
So now I
Very
feel like I
straight,
want to go back and tell everybody what we were just discussing. But it was so much.
It really wasn't. So to give
It
people a
was.
brief synopsis of what we even talking about. So Carrying on the Juice believes that black people don't like black people.
Bro, that's not even that's not even what I was trying to go down. The main thing that I was saying is the fact that you were born and raised in Racine. You had very diverse and inclusive friends, a very diverse and inclusive environment, and I feel like that has shaped your perspective on how the real world is.
Okay, so
That was literally all I was trying to say.
inadvertently, I think your reality shaped yours.
Same. Well, that's
So
everybody though.
That you are in agreement with black people don't like black people.
So you think all like black people really truly like black people for real?
I think that majority of black people would rather like black people than hate other black people.
Can you
I think you
explain?
believe in the self-hatred concept.
Can you explain? Go deeper.
So now you're doing to me what I was just doing to you.
Go deeper with that. Let's unpack it.
Well, I think you should talk about it a little bit more.
No, I
Bruce.
want to know what because you said you think I believe that, so I want to know why.
I want to know why you believe this.
No, I didn't say I believe
want
that.
to know
I want.
why
Don't try to
anytime-
flip it back
I wanna
on me,
know why
Ben.
anytime we
No,
get on
you're
these
trying to flip it
airwaves,
back on me, and I want to
anytime-
know from your perspective what does that mean?
I want to know why every time it comes down to the idea that something negative is attributed to the black society, you agree with it.
And positive.
Why is that?
I believe in black girl magic. I believe in black excellence.
Mm-hmm.
So what about that? You don't have a problem whenever I say that.
Mm-mm.
So what's up?
I'm asking you a question.
Why you always give me pushback when I say other things? Why you don't give me pushback when I talk positive things about the black community?
Because I think those positive things a lot of times are true. But a lot of times the negativity, the negative ideas that have been pushed and onto black people as stereotypes, I think a lot of times, not just you, but there's other people out here who aren't black themselves or have no connection to the culture. A lot of times they believe those things to be true. You know, when black people call in on these airwaves, as we had a caller earlier, her name was Pat, right?
Mm-hmm.
She calls in and she says, well, I just believe that black people don't like other black people. And I had to dead that right there. Because I think there's people that just don't like people in general. Like, there's people out here right now who are like, man, you know what? I can't talk to people. You know, I'm antisocial. I sit in my corner. I do what I do because I don't like people. I think there's just people who do that. But then there's other people who like to label things and throw colors on it. Like, oh, black people just don't like black people. White people just don't like white people. Asian people just don't like Asian people. But I think that's all, you know, hogwash. I think it's a lie. Like, I think there is the idea and concept of self-hatred, right? Where, you know, you might see somebody, you know, talk bad about their own people all the time. Whether I see white people do it, black people do it, whatever. However, I don't think that just innately when we're born, we just grow up disliking each other. I think that more so draws a wedge in between what we're trying to create. That's what I believe.
Okay.
All right.
I guess the show is over, huh? That's okay. Where'd you get that?
From Third Street Market Hall in downtown in the downtown of the heart of Milwaukee.
Okay.
Where'd you get your lip gloss from, bro?
I'm over you. I ain't gonna lie, I'm over you. You be saying stuff that make me mad.
You make me mad all the time, bro. I just keep it rolling. I'm like, whatever. It's just juice.
This is just juice.
Yeah.
I think that it's important. I think we need to unpack that a little bit. Because I don't think anybody is born hating anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that because we live in a selfish society, I think people just don't care for other people. And just because sometimes I pinpoint black people, that's not me saying other cultures and races don't also do that same thing. I just don't feel the need to mention them. They don't need to be mentioned every time we're talking about general things, right? Like if I want to just talk specifically about black people because I'm talking to my black people, I feel like that's fine for me to do. I don't always have to bring up white people in that or other races in that as well just because they also do it. Like, yeah, that's fine, but I care about my people. You feel me?
I could be silent right now, but I'm not.
That would make for a terrible show, and then I'm going to call Kyle and tell him you're not saying nothing.
And then you're going to be mad at me for real. But you know what, though, Juice? I think that a lot of times, because you're right, because you don't have to, right? Like, you don't have to bring up
that's
those
that inclusive
other
stuff. Like, I don't have to talk about every race just because I'm talking about what I feel like some black people do. Like, I don't have to talk about the other races.
No, you don't. However, like from my perspective, a lot of times, like when people call up here and you know, I was having a show with somebody one time. I'm not gonna mention the person's name, but I was doing a show with somebody and they were like, you know, man, you know, it's all these black kids out here stealing all these kid cars. Like, it's black kids doing this, it's black kids doing that, it's black kids doing this. But this person is speaking from a misinformed idea. And yeah, you would think it's just black kids, right? But no, this thing has transpired all across America. Like, I was literally watching a video in Maine. They got the Maine Kia boys. None of these boys is black.
Bro.
Well, hold on. But listen to what I'm trying to say. Because what happens is this narrative that gets spun that black people do this, black people do that. If we have this platform that we got right now, we're like, man, black people do this, black people do that. It gives the other opponent, if you will, the ammo to go and say, man, I told y'all they just like this. I'm telling y'all they just like this. Look at this person who has this platform. They have a platform. They're up here agreeing with a lot of the same sentiments that we already believe. Now, if I go on and actually show people reports like, bro, this ain't black people doing it. You know, it's other folks doing it. It goes on to broaden the conversation from just being about black people, about again, black people being a scapegoat for stealing cars, being the kid boys. It's not the truth, bro. Like, sure, yeah, are we attributing to it? Yes, I would definitely agree with that. But however, it's not. We're just not the main focal point. Now, if we continue to go on and that be our messaging that we're the main focus of doing violence, then how are we lifting our people up then? You know, if we're talking about oh, we're the main deciding factor when it comes down to hatred. These are the same narratives and stereotypes that's been put up on us for the past since we came over here to this country. What are we doing? We just oppressing our people even that much more. We should be more so focused on how we're bringing each other together. We should be focused more on how we actually building the connection. I do understand that there are truths that lie within our culture. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong on that. However, I don't believe that it's for the masses to actually to know about. That's something that we should be actually talking about, figuring those things out. Because as soon as we give the enemy the knife or the gun or whatever, they're gonna use it. However, if I give you the knife or a gun, at least we're gonna have some kind of compassion to figure out what we can do in between us. But when we give it to them, they take it and run with it, just as if just like our what's the name thing, our clip with Eric Hovde. You know, I asked this man a simple question, which would have been a simple question for somebody of our culture. They could have been like, you know, man, I don't even really care that much about Juneteenth. Juneteenth is what it is. You know, I come here to get some good food. They could have. Somebody from the culture could have said exactly what he just said, and it would have been okay. But because he said it, got blown up out of, I'm not going to say out of proportion, but it got used to his detriment. Same exact idea when we get on these airways and we talking about, oh, this is what's going on with the black community. This is what's going wrong with the black community. This was going, man, black people this, black people that. And it needs to continuously just downing us instead of actually finding out ways to uplift us. I do understand that, again, you know, if I'm just talking specifically to my people and I'm trying to figure out a way to lift them up, you know, I need to have those conversations some way, somehow. However, it's just some sound bites that somebody's going to take one day and be like, you know what, I'm telling you, man, this is exactly how I feel about black people. Ron Johnson just came up here today. Ron Johnson, man, I ain't giving these black folks no kind of reparations. I want to repair the community, but I ain't for reparations. You know, I consider that a complete slap in the face, especially for this man to be the senator for the past umpteen years. You know, but that's just my take on it.
I don't agree with that at all.
Okay, that's all right.
I don't agree with a lot of what you just said, and that's where I think that's the one point where we always differ at, is because I'm all for. Because to be honest with you, I don't care who clip up what. That don't got nothing to do with us. We are talking to our community. This is Milwaukee Black Talk, so we have to be honest.
Milwaukee Black Talk.
I mean, hey, it's supposed to be. That's what our tagline is. So if it ain't, we need to change it. But I guess what I'm saying is, I don't care if there are white people who are listening to us who they gonna feel however they feel, regardless of what we got going on, regardless of what we talking about. But when we are talking about our communities and the things that are going on in our communities, we have to be honest. Because we're not going to get better and we're not going to be able to create change if we don't hold each other accountable. And so with the whole Kia Boy situation, it started here in our community on the north side with a lot of young black boys. Yeah. So, yeah, it went spread nationwide, and now it's going to other cultures, other communities. I'm talking about the Milwaukee community here, and I'm telling you right now, I feel like, I haven't looked at stats, but my opinion is that a lot of the Kia boys here in the city of Milwaukee, they are black.
See, but that's what I'm talking about. That's when it becomes dangerous, though, bro. Because
how is that dangerous?
Because that same exact stereotype has been used for umpteen years. Like
what is the stereotype?
The stereotype that black people are evil.
No, I never said. But I didn't even get to finish though. And I'm not saying that they're evil, but I'm saying that is what it is.
But that's what
we know who these Kia boys are.
Your
and so if we know,
your intent is pure, bro.
Exactly. Exactly.
Your intent is pure. Somebody's going to misuse your
I don't care.
Bro. But what I'm saying, you should care.
Because what they gonna do? What does that have to do with me specifically?
Eventually, one day, Juice, you're going to have a child. Eventually, one day, Juice, you're going to have a child, right? And these sound bites, what we have, this platform right now, is going to be used. If say, for instance, you say something, you know, that isn't quite factual, could be used to your child's detriment, bro. This is what I'm saying, bro.
How? Can you give me an example?
Okay, the narrative that, you know, I mean, even say when we came down to slavery, that black men were these sexual deviants, right?
Was it true?
What was it true? No, it wasn't true.
Okay, so what's up?
However, how many black men have died just because of that? Emmett Till, hell, even when the George Floyd thing had came out, they was talking about him. Oh, and how sexual he was. You know, these are the types of things that have been these stereotypes have been put up on us and placed up on us to make certain that we get locked up. That's my point, bro. So when people get on these airwaves and talking about, oh, it's just mainly black boys stealing Kia cars, I got a problem with that, bro, because that puts another target on our back.
So you don't think it's true?
And it's coming from us.
So you don't think it's true?
For the majority part, hell no, it's not true.
In Milwaukee.
If I'm talking about Milwaukee specifically, I'm not going to say that it's true. However, when we open up the broader conversation, it's not true, bro. It's just like as if.
But that's what I said. I said specifically in Milwaukee, though. So if I'm talking specifically in Milwaukee, that's true. I'm not lying about nothing. That's a fact.
Okay, so if you talking about the city of Milwaukee, majority of it is black.
Okay,
all right?
but that's what that was my point.
Okay, but Juice, you also understand that these airwaves ain't just from the Milwaukee. We talking to the world.
Okay, but I don't care I don't care if I'm saying something that is true. I don't care what nobody else got to say. I could see if I was lying and they want to take what I'm lying about and then go spread that information.
I just think that, when you have power, man, it also comes with a responsibility.
But then that means nobody should talk about anything because any national platform, the Breakfast Club, for example, they shouldn't say anything negative about black people either. They talk about black people all the time. The music, they talk about what the subject matter is. You could take that and say like, oh, well, all black people, all their music is this. I don't care about that. I don't care about what other people could use my words if what I'm saying is true. That doesn't matter to me because it's true. And they do it regardless of if we say it or not. They're thinking it. They're saying it on their own. They're lying about it. So it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, especially if what you're saying is true. We talk about what black people got going on all the time. You ain't saying none of this when we be talking bad about Diddy. When we talk about the baby oil and him going to jail and all the assaults that he done did, we talk bad about our people all the time. So what I'm saying is we have to hold each other accountable. If it is majority black young boys in our community, in our city doing it, we have to first admit it. So then we can figure out, okay, well, what is the problem and how do we fix it? If we just keep everything quiet just because other communities might listen to us, who cares about them? I don't care about them. I care about my community. I care about my people. I care about how we can fix our situation and what we got going on because they don't care anyway. They're going to say whatever they want to say anyway. So that's why I'm saying we have to hold each other accountable. So am I saying I think to the earlier point of, do I think all black people hate each other? No, I don't think we hate each other, but I think we don't really care for each other like that.
Now, that's honestly something I can agree upon because we had a show when it came down to just being selfish, right? And living here in this America, people are more selfish. A lot more people are focused more so on the independent journey, on the independent goals instead of a group think, instead of actually everybody winning together. A lot of people are truly thinking that way. Even down in Racine, I had a friend who is working to make certain that more black businesses are opening up in downtown Racine. That's legitimately happening right now.
Right.
However, there are people who are still being gatekeepers. Man, I don't want to share the information. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that.
Right.
Now, is that an ideology we need to kill? I wholeheartedly agree because we need to open up the information. However, I think there's some things that need to happen in our community that we need to actually, again, address in a matter that is tasteful for us and actually something that we can actually I guess take from or whatever and actually build upon. But then, it's just other things out there. I'd be like, man, why we have to go about this way or why we have to go about that way and give fuel to the fires that be.
I understand where you're coming from, but I just don't think, shout out to Jasmine Gooden on our YouTube chat as well, who's been tapping in, who says, I get how we have to make sure we control the narrative of what is being put out about us. But my thing is, I don't see how you can control it when other people will lie.
But bro,
they will literally lie. But that means
okay,
how can I guess what I'm saying is how do we control the narrative about us if we feel as though we can't speak about it publicly or on platforms because we think other people might take it and run with it?
I think, bro, it's more so just how you go about speaking about it. I said, again, there was another person I was doing the show with, and they're just talking about, man, but black boys stealing all the kid cars, man, this happening everywhere, and I get it. Again, the majority of Milwaukee is black. However, that same narrative is a narrative that's being used to, harass other black men. My friend, you met my friend Corvante, my boy Bizzle. This man was driving a nice Mustang or whatever. This is 2022. Driving a nice Mustang because of the rhetoric that has been put out there about young black men stealing cars or black men stealing cars or whatever. He's being harassed by a Karen. Or even myself, as soon as I got my brand new Kia, I'm a Kia boy now, right? I'm being targeted now, right? All because of a narrative that's being spun. Am I saying that the narrative is true? No, I'm not saying that the narrative is true. However, what goes on these platforms, what goes on these media outlets, goes on to shape a lot of people's minds who know nothing about us. So as soon as they hear, oh man, another black boy doing this, it just reinforces a bad stereotype about us.
So then, should we never say that we're doing anything?
I think it comes down to just how we address it. That's the plain and simple.
But also, regardless, before these like certain white Karens are gonna be Karens regardless. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like Karens are gonna feel how they feel because they have done it for ages, for centuries. Like before, when we don't even do anything. There are so many examples of us not doing anything at all because they already have their stereotypes. Like they're going to have their stereotypes.
Think about where these stereotypes come from, Juice. Like again,
where do they come from? Because from back in the day, we wasn't doing nothing. They were lying on us.
They were lying on us. However, these narratives are shaped by not only just their family and culture, but it goes down to like somebody who knows nothing about us but watched us on YouTube their whole life. So when they actually see Jammin, roll up on Jammin, I'm one of the nicest people you could ever meet. But as soon as you see this black man with a beard, now maybe not. Maybe it's just me just boasting myself, whatever, right? I do think I'm one of the nicest people you can ever meet in life, though. However, as soon as they roll up on Jammin and actually see me, they think I'm supposed to be this way, or they think I'm supposed to be that way. Like again, we have to control the narrative about ourselves. I do understand people gonna think about what they want to think, but we know who we truly are, and that's my whole point. Like,
who are we?
Loving people, God's people, truly God's creation.
Do we act like it?
I think we do not act like it a lot of times. I think a lot of times that we do fall into the ideas of the 7 deadly sins. I think a lot of the things that we do when it comes down to the black community are sometimes loving. However, when it comes down to being the worst of the worst, we can't truly be that to each other and others. But I'm not going to sit back and say that that's just the black community, because there's a lot of other communities that do some pretty heinous things, especially when we talk about the white community. We talk about the Asian community, whomever it may be. I'm not going to sit back here and put all the negativity up on us, because ultimately this is what they've told us since, not just us, but have told people about us since we got up over here. I can't stand for that, bro. Like, I'm over here trying to really set our people free, and I'm talking about free of the mind. You know what I'm saying? I don't want this next black man, next young black girl out here to be in shackles and chains and think that she's only supposed to grow up to be a slave. That's media controlling the narrative of who we are. That's why it's important for black people to get inside of media, whether it's movies, whether it's music, whether it's what we're doing right now, and really tell the truth, and in tech, and really tell the truth about who we are. Hell, even technology even becoming racist. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole, but these are the types of things that we need to get ahead of. And out of the fact that we have a platform that we can actually sit back and speak positivity over our image, over our public image, over how people perceive us, it's time to let that be, and it's time to let us set us free. And I feel like we have.
I just feel like to set us free, we can't only talk about the positive.
No, we got to go into the negativity.
Like you have to talk about the negative things, and I'm not about to bite my tongue just because I feel like another media, whatever, or people, not even in media, just people, white people who could be any other culture who could be listening. Could take and run with it. I'm not worried about them, because at the end of the day, they're not going to help us regardless of however they feel. And I would rather be talking to my community. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. I'm talking to my community. I want to hold my community accountable, because by holding our communities accountable, that is how you can start to create the change.
And Juice, I think that's when you are talking to your community. But when we over these airwaves, we're not necessarily talking to our community. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Our demographic, what it truly is. It's not just our community on here. We truly talking to the world, Craig. So in doing so, I'm not saying lie, because we definitely don't need to lie. We need to tell the truth. That's what we're here for. Mm-hmm. That's what God preordained for our lives. We were supposed to be here at 101 telling the truth and truly tell the truth about what's going on. But in doing so, what do they always say? The truth will set you free. We happen to be the tastemakers and the speakers on this platform. We need to be the people setting ourselves and everybody else who decides to listen to us free.
But I guess what I'm saying is, I want you to give me an example of how you can do that. Like, how can you hold our community accountable and the people who are doing some of the things within our community accountable without saying that they're the ones that's doing it? Like, what do you mean? Do
exactly what the other media programs do when you see them talk. Okay. For instance, Dylan Roof, the killer who out in North Carolina, who went in and murdered, I want to say like 9 black people. What did the media do to him? You know, did they talk about how a thug he was? Did they talk about his family background? No, they made that man look good. All I'm saying is when we out here on a worldwide view, make our people look good. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that the person not messed up. I'm not saying that the person don't come from a bad background or a hood, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. I'm just saying make our people look good. All right, I'm not finna be up on these airways or any kind of public platform necessarily just talking about the evils of what some person has done, especially if it comes from our people. I'm gonna make certain that I put this person on a platform and give that person the benefit of the doubt because I know your struggles. I know for a fact, not for a fact, but I know a lot of times we go through adversity that no other race has to face. So I'm gonna try to give you an easy route. I'm gonna try to give you a little bit of leeway because we don't get leeway. All right, we always told from the day of us being born, we gotta work 10 times harder than the white man, which I also think is another misnomer, and it's something that we are fed just because we work in this society. Like I think that's complete BS. However, I understand the things that get put up on us.
Okay.
I mean, because honestly, Juice, it's just like, man. Again, I'm not here for a long time.
But like, I don't think that But I guess my thing is, I understand that that's what the media does. For the criminals in their communities, is they try to hide the fact that they're actually criminals. But I don't think I don't think that they should do that.
What?
I don't think that they should hide the fact that they're actually criminals.
Juice. So what I'm saying is In that same scenario, they make that person look good.
So we have to be like them.
I'm not saying be like them, but I'm saying being better than them. Okay, and being better than the next person or anything like that is just again, giving our people the opportunity that has never been afforded before. And it's to be looked as in a good light. Again, Juice, just because I got a beard, I'm looked at as a threat, bro.
But I guess
you know who I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I get that, but I'm saying I feel like it's only that way when we talking about what like I said, for example, when it comes to entertainment, we don't mind bashing them. Why is that? Why is that any different? Like, we talk bad about our community in so many other ways. Why is that acceptable? But yet it's not acceptable to admit the actual truth of the fact that within our Milwaukee community, a certain group of people are doing things that we need to try to get them not to do. Like, I feel like once we say, like, okay, yeah, our kids are the ones that are out here in the Milwaukee community doing X, Y, and Z, but why? You know, how can we get them to understand that you have so much power, you little black boy? See, you have so much whatever you look. You know what I'm saying? But you can still. But what I'm saying, I still said the same thing. I still said that I did. I still said the same thing, that our black kids are stealing the Kia cars in Milwaukee. That's the part that you had an issue with. I said the same thing. I just followed it up with, okay, but why? It's the same thing. And you over there trying to stir up your little water, and you know I'm right. I said the exact same thing.
I don't recall.
You saying you don't recall now,
this
but I'm just saying it's the same thing. Like, we can hold each other. We can say what is actually true and what is actually happening while still having that compassion. I wasn't saying like, man, these kids they just need to die. Like, they just need to die because they out here they doing X, Y, and Z. Let's just throw them off the boat. You know, I'm not saying that, but I'm acknowledging the fact that they're doing wrong. You have to acknowledge the fact that they are doing wrong, and we need to try to figure out a way to help them to go into a different direction. That is what I'm saying.
To help them see the power of them, to help them see the light in them, to help them see the God
but you still first have to admit that there is a problem. You can't just gloss over it or sugarcoat it just because you don't want other media to take it and run with it. Like, that's not going to help.
Again, Juice,
because you kind of talk about sugarcoating it in a sense.
I'm not talking about sugarcoating it. I'm saying
you are.
What I'm saying is how you framed it, I thought was perfect. But maybe
the same thing, bro.
Maybe I don't think you did. But
I literally said the same thing. Zach, did I not say the same?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man.
I said the same thing.
Look, all I'm saying is, you know what? Address the wrongs, address the negativity, but however, how you had just put it right then and there, I think is a better way and a healthy discussion. At the end of the day, I think that's, how do we bring them to the light? How do we show them their power? I think that's great.
Exactly.
I think that's beautiful.
Well, I mean, you didn't even hear. Okay, but why did you assume that after you admit the truth that you just go into bashing right away?
What are you talking about?
Because you just stopped it right there. As soon as you hear somebody say something you don't like Pat, for example, saying like, oh, well, black people don't like each other, right?
Bro, we have like 1 minute left.
You be stopping, but you do that. But you be doing that because I know the episode you talking about with the person you talking about, and you stopped that person immediately. You didn't even let them finish like what they were trying to say.
Maybe I did.
So that's what I'm saying is you can acknowledge that it's a thing and then follow it up with love.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Honestly, if that's the formula, then I'm fine with that. All right, if that's the formula.
Oh my
but I ain't
gosh.
gonna be out here just bashing black people. Like,
I mean, Dr. Umar, you like Dr. Umar, right?
Yeah.
He says all the time, like, oh, we just gonna have to kill some of these little Negroes. Like, they just gonna have to get left behind. He has said that.
He has said something
we just
have to
like
get left behind.
Like we can't take everybody. How do you feel about that? That's kind of like bashing the community in a sense.
But he ain't no God. All right, he's a normal human being. He's a normal man, just like me and you are. Well, I mean, you're a woman, but you know what I'm saying. So he's nobody to necessarily follow. However, I think there are good things that Dr. Umar says that can be applied to, our community's plight.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying as far as how he said that, like leaving kids behind, like the bad eggs, and just dropping them off somewhere and getting them out of the community, and pretty much saying like you can't save everybody.
That's true.
So you do agree, but.
No,
I'm confused.
I agree. You can't save everybody. However,
just kill them off, bro.
I would never say that though. Like just to kill people off
that's
and just
crazy.
let them be. I mean, the type of heart that I have personally, I wish I could save everybody. But the reality of it is, you can't save everybody. There's going to be a select few of people who's going to be willing to listen to what you got going on. There's going to be another select few of people that's going to be willing to act on what you got going on. So I'm pretty certain that Dr. Umar Johnson has a few followers out there who follow his every word and follow his every lead. However, everything that man says is not true. And that's just that. But I think when it comes down to us painting our narrative, I think how you worded it before is perfect. When you went on to go say that you do have to address the atrocities that a person may has done or our community may has done, but again, follow that up with love. Figure out a solution so we can figure out how to get ourselves out of that bind.
That's all I'm saying. It's just accountability, bro. Like you have to admit what it is. You have to be. It's like a lot of harsh truths. It's a harsh reality that you have to face, but you have to face it in order to get through it. Like you're not gonna face it by sugarcoating it and try to say, well, it's not just the black kids. It's everyone in the country. But it's like, bro, it started here. It started in our communities. They made a whole dance for it. Like, be real. Like, let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 1017. Like, it is what it is. Now, once you admit it, then it's like, okay, well, let's go deeper and try to figure out how are the parents' financial situations. Is mom working about 3 jobs, don't have time to be home and watch the kids, so the kids is just out doing whatever all the time? Like, that's the problem. That's the problem. We have to figure that out. Why is mom working 3 jobs? Why is nobody there to help take care of the kids? Why is the other family members not around to help this kid with whatever it is that they got going on? Yeah. Like, there's so many other things that you can unpack from that. But the first step you have to do is to hold each other accountable. So going back to what Pat has said when it came to, black people don't like each other. Like, okay, yeah, I don't think that like black people hate each other. No. But because we do live in a selfish society, I don't think we care about each other as much as we probably used to back in the day. Yeah. Like, at all. Because she had a point. She was like, we don't even support each other's black businesses. All these black businesses going out of business, we're not supporting each other. Yeah. People have some type of whatever. We don't support it. So... And that's not to say I don't support it just because you black and I hate black, like that self-hate thing you were talking about. I don't think it's because of that. I don't think there are black people, like majority of black people who don't like black people just because they're black. I think we just have become very individualistic mindset. I think that's the right individualistic mindset. Yeah. Thinking about and are very selfish, and we're worried about what we got going on. We worried about our own families. We worried about our own friends and what we got to do. And I think with that, like, we don't really care about the next person like that. Like, we can come together sometimes for sure, but like I even said before, we be talking about reparations. We have not been able to come together to come to an agreement on what it is we actually even want. What are we asking for? Everybody got a whole different message as far as what they want for their own separate reparations, but how can we all come together and figure out what it is that we want to ask for as a community? Yeah, like, how do we do that? That is what we need to be talking about, but we don't, because everybody is just so in their own mind. Like, the bus boycott, I don't think we could do that today. And we got more access to vehicles than ever. And I don't think that we would go pick up our neighbor and go across town and wake up early. We wouldn't do that for one another. Yeah. And it's not because we hate each other, but we don't care enough.
All right. Now, honestly, Juice, and those are the types of things that I really care about, though, because, like, I think that's true. You know, I think it could be done. However, it's just that much more harder because whatever has happened in the past 60 years or whatever has definitely pulled us away from community, and it's more about individuality. It's more about me first. What am I going to get out of this? What am I going to get from my vote versus what is my community going to give? Oh,
100%.
If I sit back and wait off for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever the case may be, you know, what will my community look like then? I think everybody's looking and thinking about, like, hey, where am I going to be at a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, whatever it may be. But it's just, I don't know, man. I think and I'm talking about as a society as a whole, we have been constructed and engineered to actually just think about ourselves. Again, like I bring up the iPhone a lot of times for a reason. And, you know, one of the things that even Steve Jobs has said when it came down to him inventing the iPhone is he called it the iPhone specifically because he wanted people to think of I when they pick up an iPhone. And he also wanted to make the iPhone become like a social status, like a social symbol. So as soon as you do have an iPhone, you feel like you're in this another class of people. Like you feel like you're above others. This is what he intended the name of the iPhone to be in. That's why a lot of times.
Did he say that in a keynote?
I want to say it was in the keynote, like straight up. I want to say it was in the keynote. One of those, you know how he addresses all the Apple employees. Yeah, so he made it to be that way. So a lot of times people with iPhones, they are a lot of times using classism to identify as being or signify themselves as being a little bit better than the next person because an iPhone is a social status symbol. And with that being said, it goes down to the idea of us just thinking individualistically or thinking about ourselves just being individuals. Like, that's just it.
And I mean, and to be very honest,
I think it makes that much more harder for Black people to come together.
Well, yeah, 100%. And also another thing is struggle. Mm-hmm. I think we don't share. We do, but we don't at the same time share the same struggles. And it makes me think back to kind of like white people back in the day. They didn't really have issues. Like, I think what bonded us together was trauma. You know, what bonded us together was the fact that we wanted to get out of a situation together equally. Mm-hmm. I think what bonded us together as Black people was the fact that we wanted just rights. And we were willing to fight for those rights. But I feel like once we got the rights and you know, certain Black people start moving up and getting opportunities and doing, you know, having that Black excellence a part of them. And it kind of made some people be in middle class, some people be not in middle class. You had rich people, you know, we were kind of more spread out. Now that we had a little bit more options to make money for ourselves, we became like them where I don't think they really care about one another. Like, why do white people, like, do they care about each other for real? Not like how we did.
Yeah,
we were together. You know, we came together for a common goal. I don't think we all share the same common goals anymore. We all have our own individual goals, and because we don't have the same struggles, like, we have the same struggles as far as like the systemic things that we have to go through, right? The fact that the traumas are against us, right? But we're not facing it enough to the point where we're sick and tired of it and we want to come together again and figure out how to get out of it, you know? So I just think that the lack of struggle and the more we all start making money individually as Black people, we didn't care about the next man anymore. We had rights. Nothing was segregated. You got to think about that. Now we're integrated. We can do whatever. We can go to school now. We can get an education now. We have an option for that. We have choices for that, you know? And of course, depending on your environment, it makes it harder and it can make it extremely difficult to like finish. That's where, you know, that's where like the self-discipline can come in and the like just striving to work hard to get out of your situation, you know. But I just think because we don't have that same struggle or that same common goal of, hey, I want we need rights. We need to not be segregated. We need to come together. That's not gonna happen no more. And white people didn't deal with that.
Yeah,
in America. They didn't have no. They already had money from us, and they don't care about each other, bro. That's why they be having their Thanksgivings how they do.
That's true. They had the American Revolution. Maybe that's what they bond over. I don't know.
What do they bond over?
That's a good question.
That's what I'm like.
Going up north. Hunting some deer.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. When we was just out there listening to them two people out in our little comment area about how they've flown here and they've been here and they've been here, and we were just sitting there like, we don't even got a passport yet.
Facts.
Like, we ain't flown nowhere. We haven't done any of that stuff.
Nah.
Like, that is crazy that is regular for other people that they've flown out of the country and that they've been here. They've been to Greece. They've been to whatever,
traveled.
Like, that's not the everyday black person. It should be. I want it to be. But, like, we got other things that we worried about. Like, we got other things we're striving for first, We don't have the time to be like, oh, yeah, I just want to go pack up my things and go to Rome. Like, what?
Nah, it is very interesting, Juice, when you even talk about like the differences in between, opportunities that's afforded to some, but not all, And I think, again, like how you were even saying before, I think, there have been individuals who have traveled abroad, and it's on an individual level. However, it isn't normalized or it isn't something that's preached or in our family structure to go and do these things or even set you up to be able to do these things so you can broaden your horizon, so you can see something outside of what is here.
Yeah, I've only seen certain people in certain tax brackets of black people talking about the fact that they've flown here, flown there, or did whatever. But I will say, Rhea, she's gone. She's flown,
Petty.
And did what she had to do,
She
which was really fun. But other than that, that's not commonplace. That's not common for you to go on BurLi and talk to some people like, oh, you been to Italy? Like, what? Have you been to Australia? Have you been to Brazil? Have you been to Spain? Like, that's not the norm for our community.
See, and I think even what we're doing currently right now isn't the norm for our community. Us being on airwaves each and every day isn't normal for our community. That's why a lot of times when people are looking at us, I don't know how people address you out there in the streets, Juice, but, sometimes, I'm outside and people are telling me things that's going on in their lives, and they're like, man, Jammin, you mean a lot to our community because, what I'm saying right now, you could take to these airways and really address our plights. Yeah. And, I take that very serious.
No, 100%. 100%. I was going to say something. It's kind of mean, though. I was gonna say before when I say, what do white people bond over? And I was gonna say like their hatred for us. Honestly, I feel like that's the one thing that they come together to make sure stays the same. That I do not want them getting ahead. I feel like that's the one thing that bonds them together for real, is to how can we stay the superior people, the superior being? How can we stay the majority? And whatever falls under that, that is exactly what they gonna bond over.
And it's very interesting. Shout out to Jasmine Gooden. She's been on our YouTube
Juicy
chat
Jammer.
all day. Yeah, she is a juicy jammer. And shout out to Jasmine. Jasmine goes on to say, look, do you ever think that because we all got different bloodlines as black people, it creates a separation in us naturally? Like someone who has Kenyan blood versus someone who has Guyanan blood in them. And it's very interesting because, like, sure, over here in America, you just having melanated skin or whatever, we consider you black. However, one thing that we never think about is literally like the tribes you came from, and even if you think about like the tribes you came from on the old maps or whatever, a lot of those, there were different separate regions of Africa that we came from. We weren't all just from one bloodline. So who knows, it might be a thing where we all do think differently because, our ancestral lineage. However, I think to some of our detriment, we are all lumped together for for the reason of us just being melanated. Like, a Nigerian, they say, if you get a group of Nigerians together, they're very smart. They're very smart people, right? But if you get a bunch of Kenyans together, they could run very fast all together. They might make a good cross-country team, right? We all got our own separate superpowers.
I have a thing when it comes to like.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay, well we finna close. Let's just close.
Oh my God, my bladder is.
Well, stop drinking.
Right,
you just took another sip, bro.
I did it so I can stop thinking.
Well, we can close out the show. I did want to say one more thing, and maybe I'll save it for the show tomorrow. But I don't know.
We gonna do that Stein apples?
No, maybe not. I'll just say it right now, and I don't know, maybe it's a hot take.
It's kind of
a hot take. I'm not gonna say that sounds, but I'll say it now. It's kind of a hot take, but I kind of just feel like if you're not Black American, you shouldn't say the N-word.
Ooh, that's something you don't want to do.
You over there twiddling your thumbs and crossing your legs.
God.
All right, thank you so much, everybody, for tapping in to Jammin' with Juice, uncut, unraw, unfiltered, unedited. The Pharaoh has to go potty. Shout out to everybody who was on the chat today. We really appreciate y'all, and we're gonna continue the conversation tomorrow. Make sure you tap in. 12 to 1, we're gonna be at Steinhoffel's in Oak Creek, and we giving away a $100 Bucks gift card courtesy of Steinhoffel's. Okay, we're starting off the Bucks home opener the right way. Bitch, Jammin is so funny right now, doing his little dance. He little boy. Ooh,
Hey.
He got a tinkle.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna not hold him up. All right, sip on that, y'all. Yeah, see y'all tomorrow.
See y'all tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's your girl, Naughty Juice. I was keeping it juicy.